The Bloody Tower. As night fell over the Tower of London, the Bloody Tower loomed ominously in the darkness. According to legend, this was the place where two young princes, Edward V and his brother Richard, were imprisoned before they mysteriously disappeared in 1483. Some visitors to the tower claimed that they could still hear the sounds of children crying and laughing coming from the Bloody Tower. Others reported seeing the ghostly figure of a young boy wandering around the tower, his face pale and his eyes full of sorrow. But it was not just the ghosts of the young princes that haunted the Bloody Tower. The legend went that the tower was cursed, that the stones themselves were soaked in the blood of those who had been imprisoned there and executed. Over the centuries, countless prisoners had been locked away in the Bloody Tower, and many had never left alive. Some had been executed on the orders of the monarchs who ruled over the kingdom, while others had simply disappeared, their fates unknown. Those who had spent time in the Bloody Tower claimed that the walls themselves were alive with the memories of those who had suffered and died there. They spoke of strange whispers in the darkness, of shadows that moved of their own accord, of a presence that seemed to follow them wherever they went. But for some visitors, the Bloody Tower was more than just a haunted relic of the past. It was a warning, a reminder of the cruelty and brutality that had been inflicted on so many throughout the ages. And so the legend of the Bloody Tower lived on. A dark and terrifying reminder of the Tower of London's grim and bloody past, for those who dared to enter its walls. It was a place of ghosts and nightmares, a place where the sins of the past could never truly be forgotten. As the years passed, the legend of the Bloody Tower only grew strong. Some visitors claimed that the ghosts of the young princes were not alone in their hunting, that other prisoners who had suffered and died in the tower still lingered there. There were stories of phantom footsteps echoing through the halls, of ghostly apparitions appearing in the dead of night, of doors that opened and closed on their own. For some, the Bloody Tower was a place of fascination and intrigue, a site where they could come face to face with the ghosts of the past. But for others, it was a place of terror and dread, a place to be avoided at all costs. Despite the rumors and legends that surrounded it, the Bloody Tower remained a popular attraction at the Tower of London. Visitors from all over the world flocked to see the infamous sight, to walk in the footsteps of those who had suffered and died there. But as they wandered through the dark and winding halls of the Bloody Tower, they couldn't help but feel a sense of unease, a feeling that they were not alone in. And as they gazed up at the cold and foreboding walls, they wondered what secrets lay hidden within, what dark and bloody history was waiting to be uncovered. For the Bloody Tower was more than just a legend, more than just a haunted relic of the past. It was a symbol of the Tower of London's dark and sinister past, a place where the ghosts of the dead still lingered, waiting to be discovered by those brave enough to seek them out. The Headless Ghosts. As the night descended upon the Tower of London, the silence was broken by the sound of footsteps echoing through the deserted corridors. Many believed it to be the Headless Ghosts, the two apparitions who were said to wander the tower in search of their missing heads. The ghosts were believed to be Sir Thomas More and Bishop John Fisher, two prominent figures who were executed by King Henry VIII for their refusal to accept his separation from the Catholic Church. Legend had it that their spirits were trapped within the tower, doomed to wander the halls until they could be reunited with their severed heads. Visitors to the tower reported seeing the ghosts walking through the shadows, their heads tucked under their arms as they searched for their missing appendages. Some said that they could hear the men whispering to each other, their voices echoing through the empty chambers. But despite their macabre appearance, the Headless Ghosts were not violent or malevolent. In fact, some claimed that they seemed to be lost and confused, as if they didn't understand why they were still wandering the tower after all these years. As the years passed, the legend of the Headless Ghosts only grew strong. Some claimed to have seen the ghosts wandering the tower during the day, while others swore that they had heard their footsteps late at night. But for all their searching, the Headless Ghosts never found their missing heads, and so they continued to wander halls of the Tower of London, their spirits forever trapped within the confines of the ancient walls. For those who dared to visit, many believed that the Headless Ghosts were a reminder of the tower's past, a symbol of the violence and brutality that had taken place within its walls. Some even claimed that the ghosts were a warning, a message from beyond the grave, that the tower's history was not something to be forgotten or ignored. Despite the fear that the Headless Ghosts instilled in those who saw them, some visitors claimed that they felt a strange sense of empathy for the two lost souls. They knew that the men had been executed for their beliefs, and that their spirits were trapped within the tower because of their refusal to compromise their values. And so the Headless Ghosts continued to wander the halls of the Tower of London, their ghostly figures a constant reminder of the tower's dark and haunted past for those who dared to do so. The Raven Ghosts. As the night enveloped the Tower of London, the eerie sound of flapping wings echoed through the deserted corridors. Many visitors to the tower claimed that it was the Raven Ghosts, the spectral figures of 6 ravens that were said to haunt the castle. According to legend, the ravens were vital to the survival of the kingdom, and if they were ever to leave the tower, the country would fall. The 6 resident ravens at the tower had become a popular attraction, and visitors from around the world flocked to see them. But some visitors claimed to have seen more than just live ravens at the tower. They claimed to have seen ghostly figures of ravens flying through the air, their spectral wings flapping silently as they soared above the ancient walls. Those who had seen the Raven Ghosts claimed that they were not like any ordinary bird, but rather a symbol of the tower's dark and haunted past. They believed that the ghosts were a warning, a message from beyond the grave that the tower's history was not something to be taken lightly. Despite the fear that the Raven Ghosts instilled in those who saw them, some visitors claimed to feel a strange sense of comfort in their presence. They believed that the ghosts were a sign that the tower was protected, and that the kingdom would always be safe as long as the ravens remained. But for others, the Raven Ghosts were a reminder of the tower's dark and bloody past, a warning that the sins of the past could never truly be forgotten or forgiven, and so the Raven Ghosts continued to haunt the Tower of London, their ghostly figures forever a part of the castle's dark and haunted history. As the legend of the Raven Ghosts grew, some visitors began to see them as more than just ghosts. They believed that the ravens had a consciousness of their own, that they were not mere animals but rather spirits that protected the tower from harm. Rumors spread that the ravens had magical powers, that they could see into the future and warn of impending danger. Some even claimed that the Raven Ghosts could communicate with those who were brave enough to approach them, whispering secrets and advice in their ears. But for most, the Raven Ghosts remained a mystery, a haunting reminder of the tower's dark and bloody past. And as the years passed, the legend of the Raven Ghosts only grew stronger, their spectral figures becoming an integral part of the tower's eerie and foreboding atmosphere. For those who dared to enter the Tower of London, the Raven Ghosts were reminded that the past was never truly gone, that the sins of the past could never be forgotten or forgiven, and as long as the ravens remained, the kingdom would be safe, protected by the spirits of the tower's dark and haunted past. The White Lady. In the dead of night, the Tower of London loomed over the city, casting a foreboding shadow that crept along the cobblestone streets. The locals knew to avoid it at all costs, for the spirits of the dead that wandered its halls were not to be trifled with. Among these restless souls was the White Lady, the ghost of Anne Boleyn, the second wife of King Henry VIII. Beheaded at the Tower of London in 1536, she was buried in the chapel of St. Peter at Vincula, where her ghostly figure still roam to this day. Visitors who dared to venture into the chapel after dark reported seeing a ghostly figure, dressed in white, walking through the aisles. They spoke of feeling an icy chill in the air, as if the very temperature had dropped several degrees. The White Lady was known to appear suddenly and without warning, her form almost translucent in the moonlight that filtered through the stained glass windows. Some claimed to have heard her whispering in there, though they could not make out the words she spoke. But it was not just her presence that frightened those who encountered her. It was the feeling of impending doom that accompanied her, a sense that something terrible was about to happen. The legend of the White Lady persisted for centuries, with each new generation adding its own spin to the tale. Some claimed that she was searching for her lost love, while others whispered that she was seeking revenge against those who wronged her in life. But no matter what the story, one thing remained the same. The White Lady was a force to be reckoned with, a spectral presence that would haunt the Tower of London for all eternity. Many people refused to enter the chapel of St. Peter at Vincula after dark, and some even claimed that they could feel the White Lady's presence throughout the entire Tower of London. The guards posted in the area told stories of strange occurrences, such as unexplainable noises and movements in the shadows. Despite the fear she instilled in those who encountered her, the White Lady never seemed to harm anyone. In fact, some visitors claimed that they felt comforted by her presence, as if she was watching over them and protecting them from the other malevolent spirits that roamed the tower. But still the legend persisted, and those who knew of the White Lady's existence did their best to avoid her at all costs. They knew that she was a symbol of the tower's dark and haunted past, a reminder of the violence and bloodshed that had taken place within its walls. And so the White Lady continued to walk the halls of the Tower of London, her ghostly figure forever trapped in a state of limbo between the world of the living and the dead. Whether she was seeking redemption or revenge, no one knew for sure. But one thing was certain: the White Lady would continue to haunt the tower for as long as it stood there.